Ladies and gentlemen, another week, another special guest, and this lady is extra special, returning back to the pod for seconds. This time in the form of a friend of the pod, an expert correspondent, the host of Breaking Balls podcast, a beloved member of Yankees Twitter, and just an all-around awesome person, Emily Nyman. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That was the best intro ever. I'm gonna re-listen to that a lot. That was great. Anytime I need to
Yes,
feel pumped up, I'm gonna listen to that.
There you go. Please do. Just
we actually appreciate guests in our presence up here rather than just like the flippant like, oh, you're lucky we're giving you our time kind of shit that happens up north.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, well, it's so awesome to have you back, Emily. You are back by popular demand, and I gotta say, in our very small and modest audience, and I'm being 100% honest when I say this, they're like, "You've got to get this person back on." Like
Oh my
that girl,
God.
they call you the girl from New York, and she's like, "You got to get the girl from New York back on. She knows her stuff." So,
I mean, that's fucking awesome. Oh wait, and can I curse?
no, go for it.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I love talking baseball. I love talking with you guys, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. I never knew that this side of me existed in this space, creatively. You know what I mean? It was just such a surprising thing that happened over the last few years. That really makes me feel good to hear that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you rub off well on people, and last time you were on, it happened to be on 420, and we just have to get something out there, guys. That was a real blown opportunity, guys. I mean, we could have celebrated, we could have puffed the Magic Dragon. I mean, I don't know what floats your boats, but
Yeah, I'm definitely down to do that. Hey, there's always next year, guys.
yes, next year on 420.
I will pass on that opportunity, but y'all knock it out if you
yes.
So decide
We'll
to
smoke enough for the three of us. Don't worry.
There you go. Instead of pour and score, it's bunt and blunt.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's you had that way your Arsenal, didn't you, Barrett?
yes, I've been waiting to do that ever since we're gonna come back on again. I'm totally joking. When I was a wee little lad in college, I was offered weed once. I rejected it because I do not like to have fun. So there you go.
I literally just smoked a bong before I came onto this podcast, so I'm definitely down. Any day is 420 when you really think about it. If you want it to be.
There you go. To each his or her own. Is weed legal in the state of New York?
Yes, it is. Finally.
As of when?
Oh, this year I'm pretty sure. There's no dispensaries as of yet. There are some medicinal ones, but there's no just generic dispensaries. I think they're still trying to figure out how to make that happen. But it's been decriminalized for a long time, and now it's just officially legal. But those weird loopholes where it's all right, it's legal, but technically there's no legal place to buy it from. So I don't really know how it works, but I don't have to worry about it. I'm not getting fucking pulled over or anything. I'm too old to be smoking anywhere besides my house, really. So it's not anything I have to worry about.
We have a guest asking, "Where's Apollo?"
She's literally right here on the floor next to me.
Yes, yes.
She might jump up.
Yes, hopefully, and there will be much rejoicing. So, yes, weed is legal down here for white people in the state of Texas. Yes, if you can get, I mean, I don't know where this white person got it when he offered it to me. I'm sure we could go by Highland Park where Clayton Kershaw and Matt Stafford grew up and be like, you just walk in there and be like, "Yo, where's the weed?" And they're like, "It's okay, the cops don't come here." There you go. I mean,
yeah. They're like, "We're rich and white. We do coke anyway. We don't smoke weed, okay?" Please. You're in the wrong socioeconomic class.
Exactly. But we will have to do it again for next time, a little less than a year away. But for now, we are in the here and now. You're obviously good to go. We're good to go. We've done our pre-gaming, whatever it is. And let's just dive right into it. Let's talk about what recently happened. Trade deadline. It was awesome. It was memorable. I mean, just starting off, Emily, do you think the Padres? This is kind of a dumb question. Do you think the Padres are the ultimate winners of the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I feel so confident in saying that I would even say that they may even still be the winner come next year's trade deadline. Like this is just like one of the most epic trades of all time. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't help but laugh. In 2019, when they signed Manny Machado, and everyone was like, "Oh, Manny's going to go disappear. Oh, he's following the money, never to be heard from again." And it's like now here we are. He's now hitting between like two of the hottest hitters in the league, one of the best hitters of a generation. And I mean, they're still 11 and a half games back, but if I'm the Dodgers, that them getting Soto, that's tough.
It is because as if the season ended at least yesterday when we were doing our trade deadline analysis, they're in the wild card. Like boom.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, best of 3. It's not a one do or die. And when the playoffs start, it's whoever's hot. And when you have
Right.
Soto and Bell and Josh Hader, I mean, come on. It's like
And Tatis Jr. and just Machado, like he's gonna be back soon. Like that team is just I'm happy for Padres fans. It's really good for baseball. And the ones that I've interacted with are just cool as hell. So and they're in the National League on the West Coast, so I couldn't care less as a Yankees fan. So it's like, yeah, you guys go have fun.
yes, go have fun. You're gonna have to deal with it in 2024, but until then,
Yeah,
have
whatever.
fun. Yeah,
They've mortgaged the future.
yes. I mean, but they're
It's true.
paying Tatis 300 mil. I mean, Soto turned down 440 mil purely because of the AAV, in my opinion. 440, that's the largest contract in MLB history, but the AAV was low. There's like 20 people above him. So they're going to have to cross that bridge when they get there. But until then, till 2024, I mean, you got the modern day Ted Williams on base machine. So
Exactly. I mean, it's nothing but good things for them. I think that they won by quite a large margin, and some other teams did pretty well, but they just blew it out of the water. I mean, I still can't believe that the Brewers traded Hader. That's still like bizarre to me. But
what are you doing?
Central teams, what the fuck are they doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's had a rough couple of starts, Hater, but I mean, when he's on, he's on. He's the best closer in baseball when he's on. It's like,
And like they're in a division race. They're in first place. They, I think, are only 3 games up on the Cardinals. So like it was just an odd move, especially considering they've been to the postseason a few times in the last few years and they've only won 1 series in that time. So like you'd think that they'd still consider this a window of sorts, but I guess they've just resigned to the fact that the National League Central is horrible. So like they're just like, we're the best team of the worst division. So what does that really get us, right?
the Cardinals have they're having all the fun. They're on the nostalgia trip with
Yeah.
Pujols and Molina. They're doing, the
Adam
screw.
Wainwright.
Exactly. I mean, it's nostalgia city over there. They're doing position players pitching as like a, victory lap. They're having fun, and the Brew Crew, they need to pound a couple more beers and live up to their name because what are you doing?
A trade is like not really that great when minutes after it was announced publicly on all of their socials, they had like a statement from like the president or the GM ready to go to like explain the trade. Like, this is why we did it. We care. Like, if you have that prepared at the same time you're releasing this news, maybe it's not the best trade to make. Like, if you already have to have a 100-word or whatever sent statement, like, I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird.
It is. We're gonna see what happens. Travis picked the Cardinals to win that division, and that just becomes truer and truer every day. The Brewers still are in the lead at this point, but I mean, I don't know. It's the Cardinals looked like they were going to try to get Soto, but we'll see. And then, of course, the Nats. The ultimate loser is their fans. And I think David points out it's just bye-bye Turner, bye-bye Harper, bye-bye everybody. You win the World Series in 2019, and now you've gone from irrelevant to like complete and utter irrelevance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have a future now. Give it 10 years, maybe.
And like, I'm not a GM, so like I'm not going to pretend to know how hard or easy it is to like build championship teams. I mean, think about how many teams have like been in the league for over half a century and have like less than 10 postseason appearances and no World Series title or one World Series title. Like that's so normal around the league. So it sucks for their fans, but on the other hand, like what happened with the Yankees in the late 90s, like that's never going to happen again. That was like lightning in a bottle. I mean, the closest we've come, I guess, is the Giants every other year, and now the Astros, who've been in it but have only won it one time. So like that happens so rarely. So like they won in 2019.
Yes.
What else is there? They won with some old aging stars. Rendon was a free agent. Like I guess once like Scherzer left, Strasburg went back to being hurt. Corbin sucks. And then Rendon got signed elsewhere. It's like, were they really going to make another run, especially with like the Braves and the Mets coming up in their window? So I feel like, what else were they going to do? You know what I mean? Maybe it's easy for me to say because I'm not a Nats fan, but that's how I feel about it.
They caught lightning in a bottle. They were a wild card team. They beat the Dodgers, and they upset them pretty good. And they just, I mean, Scherzer Strasburg became like, the Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling of the series,
Wait,
where
too soon. How dare you mention 2001? No, I'm just kidding.
Too soon.
I'm just kidding.
Y'all won in 2009. So
I know.
You have 27 rings, Emily. I am watching the Derek Jeter documentary, and I'm 2 episodes in, and man, it's just if you're in that late 90s period, back to back to back, it's like you think the Yankees you think that's the golden years. You think you're never gonna lose, but here you are.
And now, because it's like, I remember, I mean, I basically became a fan because of that time period.
Yes.
Like, I'm not from a family where, like, oh, my dad's a huge baseball fan. Like, my dad likes sports, but he's not into, like, any pro team in baseball like that. So, like, I picked up the fandom on my own because they were really good. But, like, I don't really count those as, like, I was alive and I remember the 98 team and 99, 2000, but like I was a kid. So like it's not the same. Like the 2009 World Series, I was 22, 23. So that's like the one that like I have a lot of memory of the entire season and just everything about like being a fan. Whereas the other ones, like they kind of count, but like not really. Not as far as I'm concerned and like my fan experience is concerned. If that makes sense.
Yes. Have you been watching the Jeter documentary?
I watched the first episode and I haven't watched any yet. I have to catch up.
It's one of those documentaries that we all know who Jeter is. It's a formulaic documentary. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying they do it in a sense that it's chronological. They let the story kind of tell itself. I mean, there's really cool interviews. They interview Jeter throughout, and man, when they start interviewing A-Rod, it starts getting interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that they actually met prior to either of them going up in the majors. If you haven't seen that yet, I mean, they met when they were both in high school, and I was just like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were like good friends for a while. Like, shared experiences. Like, we're like two of the best players at our age group in the country. Like, who else can relate to this? Nobody. And then A-Rod still managed to fuck it up. He's like, one of the one people I relate to on the planet. I'm just going to badmouth him for no reason and then just torpedo that friendship. Man,
no, only A-Rod can do that.
Only A-Rod, really? Only A-Rod. Like, what the? I don't want to say poor guy. He made $500 million just in his playing career, but still, like, God, some really cringe-worthy shit from his playing days. My God.
Oh yes, but if just you go back to his baseball reference and you just look at it in awe, the guy was an epic talent and definitely deserves the credit there. So, but let's get
and Jeter too. Jeter was awesome. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like Jeter. Obviously, I love Jeter. Watched him play for most of his career.
His work ethic was incredible. You see that in the first episode alone. I mean, he gets drafted number 1 out of high school, goes straight to the minors, and he battled a whole lot of adversity. And I think this is going to tie well into Gallo because Jeter was compatible with the New York market. You heard him straight from the horse's mouth. He's like, the more people, the more eyeballs that are on me, the better. And that fits like a glove in New York. The biggest stage, the harshest criticism for the fans and the media, but he's like, bring it on. It's a positive reinforcement. You juxtapose that, switching now back to the trade deadline, and one of the things that happened for the Yankees was bye Joey Gallo. Talk to us about your reaction to that.
It had to happen. I like Gallo. I was happy when they got him last year. I was excited for what could have been, and unfortunately ended up not happening. It wasn't going to go anywhere. He was ready to leave. The fans were ready for him to leave. The team was ready. I mean, I'm sure they're all really close friends, colleagues, but I just mean as far as like the direction the team is heading, there's just not a spot for him. And I feel terrible for him. I mean, none of these guys want to play like shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going out there just like, oh, whatever. I don't care. It's like, I can't imagine like the sort of what's been going on in that guy's head for the last year and how tough this has been for him. And I look forward to seeing him. I hope he plays well in the Dodgers. I feel bad that he's going to like another big media market. Like, that kind of sucks. He doesn't even get like any time off in like a smaller market maybe for the rest of the year.
I think the LA market is inherently different though than the New York market. I mean, it's obviously it's a large market, but it's like LA, California. I mean, it's cool. It's the sunshine. It is, a big city, but it's like, hey, you've got the Hollywood lifestyle next door. And I was telling Boom this when we were recording last night that, don't get me wrong, I think Los Angeles is a fantastic baseball destination, but I wouldn't consider LA a baseball city. LA is a basketball city first and foremost. It revolves around the Los Angeles Lakers there. Everything else is just kind of nice. And it's the baseball fandom out in LA, I think Southern California in general, is a lot more niche. It's just a lot more specified. Like, these are the really big baseball
bandwagon Dodger fans.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's like the hardcore, but I don't even know if there's so much like bandwagon fans. There's not like there's not like the type of people that are going to even like the bandwagon fans. There's not gonna be the type that are gonna like approach you in public and like start grilling you and like throwing stats at you and like try to like show you up on like your own career and stuff like that.
New Yorkers, for better or for worse, we are a tough bunch. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not one to go to the stadium and like boo or give players a hard time. It's not how I fan. But being kind of difficult and assholeian is like the New York way. So like, the vibe is definitely different from California and from the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have been really good for a long time, but we're still in a window of Yankee fans where like that late 90s, early 2000s run has just put expectations in a place that are almost unattainable. And I'm not saying that Gallo was held to unreasonable expectations. That wasn't what that was. But I think that how he was treated and how it was unrelenting, regardless of what he did or didn't do, is a symptom of that success, because New York fans just won't accept anything less than what a player's ceiling or a team's ceiling is. And if you don't reach it, you're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
Yep. In an interview he gave with manj.com earlier this year, he said, quote, "I don't go out in the streets." The interviewer said, "That's sad." And Gallo said, quote, "Yeah, I really don't want to show my face too much around here." So, I mean, there you go. Now he can grow the beard back. I think Gallo is way too young. He's still 28. He's way too talented to just continue to have an OPS 707, 621, whereas earlier he was having OPSs in the upper 800s. 2019, he had a 986 OPS. I mean, he can draw walks, he can mash it up. It needed to happen, because then out with Gallo, enter Andrew Benintendi, among many others. I mean, come on, you guys got Benintendi, Frankie Montas, Harrison Bader, Scott Efros, and Lou Trevino, who can then pitch to Trevino. It'll be the Trevino special. So,
That's why Cashman did it. He's like, I have the chance to. We have to do it.
we
I mean, I'm
have
psyched about the deadline. They added the arm. I would have loved Castillo, obviously, and I'm not just saying that because he's now beaten the Yankees twice in a matter of like 2.5 weeks in 2 different uniforms. But
man.
yeah, that was not fun. But I can, the Mariners went all in, and I can understand Cashman having a line that he wasn't willing to cross. There were some players that he's not willing to get rid of because they're part of another plan that is hopefully replacing Isaiah kind of Falefa, but that's another story.
Oh,
Like
IKF.
trading the biggest one was trading Montgomery for Bader, who's injured. I don't know what to think of it. I can understand, I guess, I don't think they see him as part of the postseason roster. And I know it seems early, like, oh, there's a lot of games left to play, but that's why they make the deadline now, right? Or else it would be too easy if they just waited until like the end of the regular season and then let teams make these moves. So they have to try to balance it out. Like, oh, we have a 12-game lead in the division, so we can kind of cut Montgomery and roll with that scumbag Herman and see what he can give the Yankees. But I don't know if it's prudent. At this point, I have to trust the process. I have to trust Brian Cashman. Team's been in first place for 105 days. They've struggled as of late, but they still have maintained their lead over the Astros in the as far as wins in the American League, their lead over their division. So it was a good deadline. I think that focusing too hard on being upset about our 5th starter being moved for someone who's not on the active roster as of now is like looking for something to be really mad at. It's like, what else can I possibly be mad at? They're in fucking first place. Like,
yes, exactly. That it would be a little nitpicky if you were to give the Yankees a grade for their trade deadline. What would you give them?
I think I'm gonna give him a B plus. Because I don't know how to handle the Monty thing. I don't know if that's really the right move. But everything else is great. They needed arms. He added 3 arms. Needed some help in the bullpen and in the rotation. And I mean, what else can I ask for? Some speed with Bader. Hopefully he comes back in September like they think he's going to. And I also love when guys who grew up around here come back to the Yankees. And Bader, I think, is from the Bronx. So that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and then you got a high batting average guy in Andrew Benintendi. So
and him. Him.
And him. That was an earlier acquisition that happened quite a few days ago. But I mean, you got to be excited about that. I mean, the guy's batting well above 300. He only has 3 homers to his name, but I mean, putting a hit in the right position, I mean, that's it. You look at your rotation, you're looking at Cole, Cortez, Montas, Talion, Herman, German. How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Herman, and it's Tyone, Jameson Tyone, like a tie that you own.
That's man. Tie on and Herman, man, I butchered both of them. But
sorry, I didn't know how to pronounce Tyone either until he came to the Yankees and he said that on like an interview. So I get it.
Yes, wax on, wax off, tie on, tie off. So, but anyway, that's quite a 1-2-3 punch. And the Stars, Emily, they are aligning for an Astros Yankees ALCS.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna need that 1-2-3 punch because let's just say I think it's worth it for the Yankees to try to get that number 1 seed, because if they do, 2 games in the Bronx, 3 in H-Town, but then if necessary, you get those last 2 in the Bronx, and that 1-2-3 punch is going to reap the dividends and really give y'all the best chance, because it's hasn't been too lucky against the boys from H-Town.
No, I agree. I think home field is really important. I fear that the fans, and that's me included, that we value home field advantage more than the Yankees do. I think that the Yankees are going to stick with their rest schedule and they're not going to panic as long as they win their division. And I feel like that's coming, and because I feel like I've seen it already. And listen, I'm fine with it. It's only beginning of August. It has worked so far, so what is that saying? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, sort of thing.
There
Like,
you go.
I don't
Yeah.
want them to panic for it. But yeah, Benintendi was important also because they need people on base for Judge. They need like the bottom of
Yes.
the lineup has been a black hole, and then DJ LeMahieu will get on base, and then Judge gets up with either no one on or just DJ LeMahieu on base. So it's like kind of need some guys at the bottom of the lineup to be able to actually get on and then be there when he hits one of his 70 home runs this year.
Yes. Yes, he is on pace. He's on Barry Bonds' pace. 2001, ladies and gentlemen. Is that
Sorry, it's my sister. It's a dog playing with a dog toy.
You have all the animals with
Yes,
this.
I'm fucking Dr. Doolittle over here.
Dr. Doolittle. There you go. How many pets do you own?
It's actually I just have my cat, and then that dog is my sister's dog.
Oh,
It's Apollo, and the dog is my niece, my furry niece.
Your furry little niece. There you go. What kind of breed is your dog?
It's a Shih Tzu.
There you go.
She's pretty cute.
That reminds me of the Dumb and Dumber joke where it's like you cross a bulldog with a Shih Tzu and you get a bullshit.
Oh yeah, when Harry meets what's her face for the first time and she like falls in love with him from that, right? Oh wait, no, that's from the beginning.
That's it. It
Like,
is from the beginning of the movie,
right? When he's still like doing the dog grooming business or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean the New York Yankees, they've been the hottest team for a really long time. I mean, who knows? They could probably just win the division in the middle of September and then just coast the whole way through, barring catastrophe.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are still trying for. I mean, at this point, I think they've pivoted to really focus on the wild card. Not that they would not want to win the division, but they're so far back. But they just picked up. They got Whit Merrifield from the Royals, and they also picked up what's his face from the Dodgers, Mitch White, pitcher, because their pitching rotation they have some studs, but then like Barrios has been horrible, which I don't wish that sort of stuff on any player, but me and a lot of Yankee fans really wanted him, so it's almost satisfying to see a division rival get him and then him not play well at all. Jose Barrios, the pitcher, he was like one of the best pitchers on the market a year or two ago, and now he stinks.
So,
yeah. I mean,
I
it's like a Schadenfreude situation. I feel bad for him, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, Jose Barrios he's a stud, and I loved it when I thought it was a great move when the Blue Jays got him because, I mean, he kills the Astros at times, and so the Blue Jays, I picked them to win the whole thing. It was a sexy pick, but I mean, they fired their manager, so you can tell that they weren't satisfied with it. At this point, they still are well in the wild card race, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for you guys. I think making October it's gonna bring out all the different types of Yankees fans, and
I'm already nervous. I'm like was having trouble watching like certain at bats during the meaningless series versus the Astros last month. It's like I'm already like, oh my god, I can't take this. Like I don't know how I'm gonna handle it.
Oh,
hopefully it happens. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Anything can happen, you know what I mean? But
I know you can get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, those Yankees Astros games, they are playoff atmospheres through and through. We were seeing a preview, Emily, and I mean, we're gonna be talking smack, not if, but but when it happens, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. Other thoughts on teams besides the Padres and the Yankees for the trade deadline? Any teams any surprises or any teams that you thought did well?
Yeah, I mean, I like Mancini to the Astros. Mancini's great. Yeah. Such a great story and just such a good guy. And he's been an Oriole his entire career. And and it's not even because the Orioles were never really that good, but like you can't hate him. I never hated Mancini. Like he's just not that kind of guy. And this was before even he was diagnosed with cancer and overcame it. Like, so I really am happy to see him go to a perennial winning team.
Yes, he hit a bomb earlier today.
Well, he's loving the Crawford boxes because they just push the wall back at Camden, where it's like this guy pulls the
Yeah.
ball, they push the seats back in left field, and he's like, "Fuck! Like now, what am I going to do?" So now he's going to a little league park. Congratulations!
Oh, you have the gall to call us the Little League Park. Well, I mean, I can take it because yeah, it's short, and yeah, if you're a righty, you can murder those boxes. But I mean, look who's talking, right?
I know exactly.
Right field. So, hey, I mean, tell that to Chris Woodward.
Oh my god, what a fucking baby!
He just walked right into that one. It's like Chris, no, this is not going to get you anywhere. Don't do it.
I know, and then he tried to be like, "Oh, I'm just joking." It's like, no, you weren't. You were
Like
pissed off. That was
you
like
just
in
created
the bowels of the stadium, and you were mad.
You just created a sound bites. Like
Yes.
do you realize like where you are right now? Like the media is going to have a field day with what you just said for like years on end now. It's
And it was only like April. It was like the first few weeks of the season. Like, you know, your team's going to be dog shit. Why are you taking this game so seriously that you're like this mad about losing? Like, come on. Grow up, Chris Woodward.
Grow up, Chris Woodward. The Rangers. It has been upsetting for them. Blow $500 million, spread out over 10 years, but it is still $500 million, and they're 21 games back.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Oh man, you can only hope.
shit show that division.
I'm starting. Yeah, I am. I mean, as a Rangers fan, I'm starting to. I like Chris
you
Woodward.
are?
He's a
My
great
bad.
guy, but it's like, wait, what did you
Born
say?
and raised in the
Oh, sorry, I forgot that you were a Rangers fan, and
Yeah.
I was just like shitting on them big time. Oh God,
It's all good.
I mean, that's
You're
not to say I
wearing the
wouldn't have
shirt.
anyway,
It has
but
it.
that was really
It's
funny.
on the shirt. Look.
I didn't even notice it.
There it is.
Sorry, I think
My
my
bad,
microphone
Travis.
was maybe covering it a bit. No, but I mean, Chris Woodward's a great guy. I think he's been great through the rebuild process that the Rangers are going. But I think as they're getting closer more and more to like really being a formidable team, I don't know if he's the long term answer for this organization. There's as many like close losses as they've had this year. It just seems like all the like pieces of this team, especially as they're getting better now, can be really good. Like at points, it's like either we're really kind of getting into this almost like, hey, we're either like scoring a whole bunch of runs, but giving up a whole bunch of runs in the process, or we have a game where it's like, yeah, it's like a 2-3, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2 type of loss, and like we leave like 8 guys on base and like 11 guys in scoring position, and it's just like maddening stats of losing this game. It's like we had so many opportunities to win this game and we didn't do it. And it could like that truly, it could be those type of games, a ton of them, like just like a quarter to half of them, those losses that we've had like that this year could be the difference between being in the wild card race still at this point right now. And really it is kind of truly slipping away. We're like 9 games behind, something like that at this point now. And it's kind of, we were sitting
hope,
like
man.
right there pretty much all year, and it looked like a reasonable thing, but it's just, I think it's more coming into view that maybe a change.
Better
in
luck
leadership
next
might be
year.
time soon.
Yeah, especially the Mariners. Like, then it's like all of a sudden there come the Mariners out of nowhere. And it's like, oh fuck, now you guys gotta like go out and like sign some people now. Like the owner of the Rangers is definitely like, I hate the Mariners owner so much, because he was thinking that it was just gonna be like him and the Astros, and then all of a sudden the Mariners come up, and that's what I feel like baseball. And now I don't know if you guys watch other sports. I don't watch any other pro sports besides baseball, but because of the nature of the game and how different it is in comparison to like football and basketball and hockey, where like you can control the ball or the puck and you can control the clock. So more often than not, the better teams on paper will win, because that's how the game is played. And that's why they are able to play such like shorter schedules. Where in baseball, I feel like that happens so often to teams that like it gives fans so much hope, where it's like, even though your team probably won't end up at the top at the end of the season, but they have so many heartbreaking losses, or they have so many runs, well, they'll be unreal for 10 games and they seem legit, like, where I feel like it doesn't really happen as much in other sports in the same heartbreaking manner that it happens all season long in baseball for like your mid to just slightly under 500 teams.
Yeah.
True, but I mean, you look at football, the best quarterbacks in football, their percentages of pass or completions, they're stretching into like the 70 percentile. The best players in baseball are unsuccessful 70% of the time in terms of getting a hit, and unsuccessful 60% of the time in terms of getting on base. It is a sport that is not for perfectionists. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, if that's the best, that's well below 50%. And no matter which way you slice it, those are the best. And so I think the just those averages, 30% to 20%, it plays out to where there's parity where even the worst teams can beat the best teams during the regular season and but get 2 out of 3 or even sweep a team. Last place team sweeps a first place team, and you're just like, yeah, that happened. It was a fluke.
But it's still it's crazy. Like I think it was Earl Weaver who said that baseball is the best sport because you can't run down the clock, you
Nope.
can't put the ball in the hands of your best player with the game on the line. Like you
Yep.
have to every man you have to give every man his shot. Like
Yes.
you have to play every inning, like even no matter what the score is, and yet if it's your 7 hitter up with the game on the line, then that's what you got to go with, and like it
Too
just
bad.
brings such humility to the game, frustration and
Seriously.
humility.
I know it's all 9 innings, and yeah, I love what you're saying there. It's like every team, you get your fair chance, and if you screw up, that's too bad.
It's on you.
It is on you. It is a beautiful game that way. You know, football where they run out the clock, basketball, the last 2 minutes take forever. And it's just, it can kind of be exciting, but it's like timeout, timeout, foul, timeout, foul, timeout, foul. And it's
Yeah, I
baseball,
agree.
it's like, you just got to go up. And at least now at least back in the day, they would just put pitchers in. It's like pitcher under pitcher, under pitcher, under pitcher, under pitcher. But now they have the 3 batter minimum, which kind of helps that because Tony La Russa back in the day, he would just treat pitchers as disposables. It's like, all right, now you're out, now you're out, now you're out. He broke records on top of
Now
records.
he's fucking falling asleep in the first inning.
Yes. Some old managers rise well to the occasion. Of course, it helps when you have a good lineup. Look at Buck Showalter. He's got a stacked lineup, but he also seems to fit in. Dusty Baker, he has a stacked lineup, but he seems to fit in too. Tony La Russa, it's time to go bye-bye.
Yeah, like what the fuck is Jerry? What's his name? Reisdorf, the owner of the White Sox. Like he hired La Russa because he felt bad that he fired him 35 years ago. Like, what the hell kind of hire is that? And why would you
Rationale.
admit that to like the public? That's just how out of control these owners are. They just have carte blanche over everything that they would admit something like that to the public. Like, what the hell?
Yes, I wronged this man 30 years ago. He is a good man. And, I believe in second chances. He will bring wisdom as if, because, yes, if you're 85 years old or whatever, I'm overshooting his age, but I don't care. Yes, and you have inherent wisdom because it just comes with it.
Yeah,
It's not age.
apparently.
Yeah, it's not age, is just a number. It's the wisdom.
The
The World
wisdom.
Series victories.
Well, it is funny. People will like subjugate their like senior aged parents and relatives, but then like revere Tony La Russa. They're like, oh, please, like, Dad, stop. Like, they'll treat their own family that's like 75 plus a certain way. But then, like, when it comes to positions of like power in sports, it's like, oh, no, he is to be respected. And he definitely is not losing his marbles at all, even though I have no respect for people who are in their 70s in my own life. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh
It's just a
man,
weird thing.
it is a weird thing. Speaking of which, I mean, do you still trust in Aaron Boone and what he's doing?
Yeah, I think Boone's great. I mean,
Yeah.
he's ever since he took over, the team has played really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like you said, it's just about how they vibe with the team. Like they're there to keep the players happy, and they're there to speak for the players and speak for the
Mm-hmm.
team and to take on that role with the media. So I think Boone handles it really well. I'm not someone who I was never one who like wanted like, I want to see this guy face the media for his bad performance. Like that's not the kind of fan I am. So I appreciate Boone never throwing players under the bus. Like I don't really think that is
Mm-hmm.
that's a really winning management style, especially in this day and age in sports as we know them. So I think that the guys really like playing for him and they play really well for him. So I can't really ask for more than that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth keeping him around because I mean, you guys have been competitive. This season is definitely the best season you've had in a while, just in terms of sure wins so far. I mean, you guys are definitely one of the best teams in baseball. Have been considered the best team for a while now. Um, just looking onto after this season, should the Yankees make a legitimate, serious offer to Judge?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, if they
Above
don't,
200,
I
it's
mean,
like,
I will say this: I think that their extension offer to Judge preseason wasn't bad. I don't think it was an insult to Judge, and I don't think Judge even saw it that way. I think that like them making a pretty good offer and Judge betting on himself are both things that are not mutually exclusive. With that being
mhm.
said, they're certainly gonna have to pay up now, and they better because not. I didn't think that they were gonna get Soto. I had no inkling or even holding on to the tiniest bit of hope that they would. But now that they didn't, I don't see
Yeah,
how they can not sign Judge. Like if they had made that move, I
the
wouldn't
writing's
have
on the wall.
liked
Yeah.
right. I wouldn't have
Mhm,
liked letting Judge walk, but I mean then we would have Juan Soto and that would make
mhm.
sense. Now, like what, they got Andrew Benintendi? Like what the fuck? I don't think that necessarily replaces Judge.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I mean, you gotta wonder what it's gonna take. You look at other players, Bryce Harper, other outfielders. I mean, it's gonna take somewhere in the 350, just conservatively between 300 and 400 million. I mean, in order to be competitive, probably you're looking Bryce Harper territory in terms of the amount of money in the AAV. But
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say somewhere, what is that, like around 35 million a year? I think that
mhm.
the fight's not even going to be in the dollar amount. It's just going to be in the length that he's going to want the job security, and the Yankees, I think, are going to be more reluctant to give that to him because he's 30 now, so he'll be 31 next season, and
Yeah.
I think that they're going to try to use that against him. But contracts also pay for years past, where it's like, hey, you were paying me league minimum for a while, and I won a Rookie of the Year, and I did all this stuff and built myself up to who I am now. So like teams do pay for that too. So I think it'll just be who gives him the length.
There you go. And you
That's
know
what it
what?
was with Garrett Cole.
Yes, and they can also defer money. It's like, you can pay me some other time down the line. And the way that manifests itself is for the Cincinnati Reds this year, Ken Griffey Jr. is the sixth highest player on the Cincinnati Reds right now. I am not joking. The way his contract in 2010 was scheduled or laid out, he is still receiving money from the Reds to this day.
Who's the name of that guy that played for the Mets that like hasn't played in
Bonilla,
like yeah, hasn't
Bobby
played in like
Bonilla.
over 20 years and is still getting paid like God,
Yeah, he gets
what
$1.2 million every July 1st.
Yeah.
what a fleasing. That is
And
it's
that's like the norm
fantastic.
now. Like the Mets get a lot of shit for that, and I will continue to give them shit for that through 2035, which is the last year of that deferred payment. But like now that's like pretty normal. Like you were saying that I think Scherzer has deferred money. DeGrom has deferred money. Like A-Rod had deferred money. Like a lot of guys have pushed the contract, and it makes sense for them, right? Because it's like they're already making a shitload of money. Why not give themselves a little bit more financial security than like 10 years, 15 years from now, where it's like, hey, you're going to get some fresh paychecks. as opposed to like
Yeah.
retiring and then it's like, all right, I hope I manage my money correctly and not like a fucking idiot.
True, and it can also give teams a little bit of a breathing room down the line. When I look at the Yankees, they're gonna. It's just they keep flirting with the luxury tax threshold. And in your opinion, Emily, do you want them to try to stay underneath it as much as possible, or do you want a large market team like the Yankees to follow suit with the Dodgers and just say screw it and blow past it?
Yeah, I fuck Hal Steinbrenner's bottom line. Like he's a billionaire. They've made so much money from this team. Like it's literally the second most valuable sports franchise in North America. Like I think in the world actually. And it's just, or actually no, maybe the soccer teams are, but you guys get my point.
Yeah.
There's no reason the Yankees absolutely can spend
Yes.
as much as they want.
Yeah.
I mean, this league makes money hand over fist. And even when it was quote unquote dying, they were still making money every year. Like people who like, listen, it's not fans' fault, right? Like that's the sport is like disseminated to us in this way where it's like it's thought to be a good thing to like not sign free agents, and that's like buying a championship, and that's like kind of viewed as bad among fans, and that's all by design, right? Like not to be too tinfoil hatish about it, but that's all like ownership talking points because it excuses them not spending money even though they're fucking billionaires. But I think that the Yankees should just spend, and that is their biggest advantage in the entire league is the fact that they can spend, and they have, and they do. It's not like, I mean, the Yankees haven't had a losing season since I was 6 years old. So they still are able to maintain a level of competition even when they're rebuilding. So I'm not trying to sound like an ungrateful fan, as I know there are a lot of fans in the league that are from really shitty organizations and they wish that they would have any semblance of success. But the Yankees, especially with Steve Cohen across town, like spending, also going over the luxury tax, like now there's no, like now it makes the Yankees look bad. To get outspent by the Mets makes them look bad. Like it's not LOL Mets anymore. So now it's like LOL Yankees. If you let Judge walk, you made a judge's chambers and shit in the outfield. Like, what are they going to fucking dismantle that? Like, what are they going to do that on like an off day if they don't sign Judge? Like, what happens to that? Like, why do all that if you're not going to sign this guy? You know, and I don't know. I know that's not the thing holding on to it, but it just is just a weird thing to have if you were planning on letting someone walk. I don't know.
Seriously, yeah, it's I don't know why they don't just follow suit with the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they spend money and they got a World Series. Granted, it was a Mickey Mouse World Series, but still, it's still a title nonetheless. And I mean, the Dodgers have been the best team on paper at the beginning of the season. Every time we do our preseason predictions, it's like, well, am I going to pick the Dodgers or am I not going to pick the Dodgers? Because they're the best team on paper. And the Yankees can be that. I mean, seriously, they do not need to settle. And I'm going to bring up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa because when that move happened last year, it bewildered me. And maybe it's the Jeter documentary talking, but the Yankees need a superstar shortstop. It's the sexiest position. New York's the biggest market. They need a powerhouse shortstop because if they don't have it, then they can't. It's not the New York way.
They need a Tim Anderson.
I mean, legit. It's not fucking 1978 where like the shortstop is a guy that can't hit for shit, but like just fields. Like
yes,
Cal Ripken Jr. and Alex Rodriguez revolutionized the position. So like the fact that now and I love analytics and I love all the information, the wealth of information, how much deeper we can make our understanding of a complex game. But on one hand, it's also shown the luck and the randomness that's involved. Like it's really shown a light on it. So that has its good and its bad because it's also shown teams that like, hey, maybe we don't have to spend $400 million because as long as we get to the postseason, our chance is really just as good as any. How much does one player move the needle when you can't put the ball or the bat into his hands when the game is on the line? You know what I mean? And that kind of sucks because you want your team to be like the Dodgers and just I'd rather have every fucking major star and lose and be like, well, what else were we going to do? They choked. As opposed to being like, well, we had Isaiah Kiner-Falefa up in the fucking ninth inning of the World Series. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to blame him. I'm so ready to blame him.
Oh, IKF. Oh man, he's showing spurts of life when he was with the Rangers, and
I
they were
just think
both
another guy is just not a fit for the New York market. Just
seriously.
he
It's
wasn't.
polarizing, man.
And he's okay. Like he gets a lot of, I give him a lot of shit. And like, listen, he's not, it's not like he was expected to be Carlos Correa, you know, like he
True.
wasn't expected to be Corey Seager. So like, I feel bad that he gets so much shit, but the Yankees didn't really put him in a good position by putting him as a shortstop on this team, because like there's the juxtaposition between him and some other guys in the lineup is just too much to take. And it's his 271 batting average with 310 on base percentage just don't move me. So like he's not even playing defense that great. Like he's not the worst shortstop in the league. He's only the second
True.
worst of qualified shortstops.
Ah! Yes, at least you don't have the worst.
Yeah, he's not Geraldo Perdomo from the D-backs. Apparently, he's the worst.
Apparently, don't even know who he is, and that's kind of
Exactly.
So, yeah, but I mean,
But yeah, they
you
should
look
spend money.
absolutely, they should spend money. They need to do it. I don't know why, but it's to their detriment until they do. Because until then, it's you're always going to be looking forward to the next World Series, and it hasn't happened since 2009. And first, you got to make it, and I think at least making it, that's going to be good. And man, it's just the expectations, they're high. I keep going back to the Jeter documentary because every year he was just like, "We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win." It rubs off on everybody, including the players, and that's what Jeter was talking about. It's just like, no, we expect to win every single year, and it's man, but it could definitely be used to an extreme for sure. But yeah, I mean, you guys still have a stack lineup. Anthony Rizzo, I think he's doing great in
Yeah,
pinstripes. I mean, murdering that short porch for
yeah,
real.
he was like built for Yankee Stadium,
Seriously.
and Judge, and Stanton are going to hit like fucking 600 home runs combined this year. It seems like I just
Yeah.
I feel confident with him up at the plate, even when he's slumping, because he sees a lot of pitches and he crowds the plate. And I think that he's just an intimidating hitter to have up there, even when he's in a slump. And I was not happy. I wanted Freeman. So when they signed Rizzo, and this was before Freeman signed with the Dodgers,
Mhm.
I was like thinking like, oh, Yankees fucking cheaping out again. But I'm
Mhm.
certainly eating my words. Not that I wouldn't have loved Freeman. I mean, Freeman is way outplaying Rizzo, but
Oh yeah.
Rizzo's been great. Judge has just been playing. He's just been unconscious lately. So like whatever we would have gotten with Freeman, Judge is that plus some. So
Yeah. Another under talking point that not a lot of people seem to mention is the fact that Carlos Correa was not traded. And if we remember the details of his deal, he he could have been traded this year, but he wasn't. And you know what that means? The next 2 years in this contract, he has a no trade clause. So but the Twins did not trade him. And I mean, why would they? They are first place, and granted, it's a weak division, but I mean, yeah, and he's not doing Julio Rodriguez well. I mean, the rookie shortstops, Pena is outshining him in a lot of respects, but they're staying competitive. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ended up. It would have been hilarious if he did get traded because he's just like, I want the AAV. All right, now, oh, bye bye.
now what? And I think he has an opt out after this year too, if he wanted to.
Yes, he has opt outs after every single. Well, he has the opt out after year one, year two, and then obviously when year three expires, then he's a free agent. So, and I wanted you guys. If I were a Yankees fan, I would have wanted Correa. I mean, I was
I
just like,
did.
why in the world can you not do it?
I did. I wanted Correa so badly. I mean, I would have
Yeah.
been happy with Seager. I would have been. I would not have been that happy with Story, and I'm not only saying that because he's been underperforming. Like I didn't really want him when Seager signed with the Rangers, and then Correa went there. Like I was like, oh, I don't really want Story, but I guess I would have taken him over Isaiah Connor Falefa. But I'm still kind of holding out hope for Correa, which is foolish because the Yankees have made it clear, they have some studs in AAA, but I mean, expecting guys to be superstars out of AAA is just, I think, a foolish thing for fans. I mean, the Yankees have good player development, and they've only developed two superstars since 2001, Robinson Cano and Aaron Judge. So, like, when guys are studs in AAA, it could just mean that they're going to be a great player for 10 years, And not to downplay someone like DJ LeMahieu, but, like, he could be DJ LeMahieu, and that'd be great. But if you're expecting Alex Rodriguez at shortstop, like, you're going to be disappointed with that. So I don't know. I still wish they got Correa because I can't take the waiting and the unknown of the prospects. I just can't fucking deal with it.
No, yeah, definitely. But well, speaking of waiting at the unknown, as we wrap this up, the Yankees roster, it is what it is. You made the moves of the trade line as they made it. How confident now, Emily, are you that the Yankees will make the World Series this year?
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident that the Yankees. The World Series is tough. I'm confident that the Yankees will make the ALCS, and I'm confident that they will play the Astros.
There you go.
I think that I don't care about dropping a series to the Mariners or whatever, losing a series to the Reds. Like, the Astros, I think, are the Yankees and the Astros are here, and then other teams are here. And I think that either one of them is capable of winning 4 games out of 7. So I'm still feeling good about the World Series. I think that this is a year. I think that this is the Yankees' chance. This is their best chance right now. Seriously. And I think that I'm more confident this year facing the Astros in the ALCS than I have been in past years. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
I feel more confident in the team.
Judge is playing outside of his mind. I don't know what PEDs he's taking. Oh, whoops. Is that controversial? No?
Hopefully they're not detected for years to come.
Yes, they're more sophisticated PEDs. No, I'm joking, guys. That's unsubstantiated. But yeah, it's.
I like it. Cope now. I like that you're already laying the groundwork to cope for the loss. Please.
Oh,
continue.
okay. I see it. Hey,
yeah. Some of the Yankees Twitter is going to get that that's listening here is going to get that as a soundbite, and
me right here, this person, I'm going to get it.
Hey,
I'm screen recording this.
There you go. I mean, it's just we're just gonna bring the trash cans, dude. So, but bring out the trash cans, bring out the PEDs. Who will win? Will it be the PEDs or the trash cans?
The final showdown. The final, yeah, right.
Yes, the final showdown of speculations. But I know I'm gonna eat it up. I am rooting for Yankees Astros. I sure hope the Astros are in the number 1 seed. I want them to gun for it. They're 2 games back as of this recording. I think that'll make huge benefits because it's just the Astros have a good history of playing the Yankees in H-Town and not a good history of playing the Yankees in the Bronx. It's mixed. We go back to 2017. It was 2 wins for the Astros. They lost all 3 in the Bronx, back to back to back. But then they won the 2 on the back end. So now I know that's a long time ago, but
still, I mean, it matters. I feel like home field matters way more in baseball just because of the way the parks are built. That it's like your team is built to perform well at your stadium, and you have, a lefty heavy lineup for Yankee Stadium and all this. So it's like your home crowd, and it's just
yes,
I think it's really important. I think it's more important than people give it credit for sometimes.
Yes, and you get the final shot at the very end.
Exactly.
The bottom of the 9th, a chance for a walk-off. But we will see. Emily, this was awesome. Thank you for joining us, talking trade deadline and Yankees, our resident Yankees experts. And this was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Guys, thanks for having me. This was great. Let's do it again at the end of the season. Or at the end of the regular season before going into the postseason.
Yeah.
Yes.
See where things are.
We will 100% do it as we look forward to the playoffs. Last chance, is Apollo still around?
No, I don't know where she is. Where's Apollo? She's not here. She's a fucking cat. You know how cats are. I'll make sure she's here next time.
next time come October. We will preview it then. Emily, go ahead and tell our lovely audience, plug whatever you want to plug for yourself. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at @MSheDoesIt. You can also find my podcast, Breaking Balls. It's at Break Balls Pod. And we release an episode basically like every Thursday, Friday ish. So just be on the lookout for that. If you enjoyed this, then you'll enjoy that podcast for sure.
You will 100% enjoy that podcast. They talk about a lot more than baseball. They talk about anything that is awesome under the sun. Harry Potter and Legos and just everything. There is something for everybody in the Breaking Balls pod as a fan myself. So
that's awesome. Thank you. Yes, I like to think so too.
Exactly. All right. Let's wrap this show up, Travis. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Boom. This has been another great episode of the No Doubter Podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening. Y'all should be doing this already, but if you're not subscribed, go on ahead and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get them, we're there. Make sure that you're also subscribed to our YouTube channel. It helps us bring this program now in the visual format, which we've done for several months. It's been a great addition here for the show. Go on ahead and leave us a 5-star review. Let us know how you're enjoying our programming. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook. Make sure you're looped in with us on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure that y'all are checking out our merch store at TeePublic. They've done a great job of putting together different shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, phone cases. Really, just the list goes on and on of what they offer. Get yourself some swag. Consider joining our Patreon community. We'd love to grow a community there of people who love the sport of baseball and want to help make this show possible. We have a couple of guys that have already done that and have been doing it for a while. There's our longest in patron, Mr. Tad Bostic, and then our Patreon producer, Mr. Don Hale. Cannot thank the two of you fellas enough for being along the ride with us. And then you'll see all those important links in the description below. Boom, send us out of here the way we always do.
Yes, as we go into the week, be like Emily, have your blind optimism, go through the week and go about every day expecting the best and trying to achieve that best. Bat 400 and always swing for the fences. Until next time, we will see y'all then. Y'all have yourselves a great weekend.